These factoring matching cards are follow-up work to the factoring work students can do with the algebra tiles. It's a good chance for students to get practice working in abstraction without all the repetition of traditional paper and pencil work. There are 5 different types of factoring offered. Removing a common factor, trinomial factoring, perfect square trinomials, difference of squares, and the more advanced work of sum and difference of cubes. Each type of factoring has different variations which increase slowly in complexity. Students often get a lesson on the first type and then can work their way through the variations, always knowing they can go back to the materials if they have trouble with the visualization. Each of the 20 sets comes with a title card and 2 sets of cards, factors and products. Students can use the cards in both directions. Even before they come to factoring, when they are learning about the distributive property, they can start with the factor cards and look for their matching products. Later, when students learn factoring, they can use the same set but start with the product cards. The advantage of doing a matching activity such as this, rather than on paper, is that students have the answers in front of them. When they try to match, they look for likely patterns and they start to make observations that help them narrow their choices. Since multiplication is easier than factoring, they can work backwards, and this helps to reinforce the inverse relationship between the 2 techniques. Since the cards match perfectly, when students get to the end, they can often quickly tell if they must have made a mistake earlier if the last 2 cards don't match. When they have completed matching the cards, they can turn them over. Each card has abbreviations for the type of factoring, the variation number, and the card number. If the card numbers match, they were successful. Having this control of error allows the students to work more independently of the teacher and allows for more differentiated work within the classroom. Another important activity that can be done with the cards is the factoring sort. When students learn a technique such as difference of squares, doing repetition right away doesn't help much because it is the same thing over and over again. But rather than saying factor by using difference of squares, we can just say factor. This is a lot more challenging. When we do this, students must choose from among the different techniques they have learned. With the factoring cards, we can lay out the title cards and pick matching cards from any of the learned techniques. Rather than matching the cards now, students are sorting them into groups based upon how they would be factored. They aren't actually doing factoring, but just recognizing what technique would be used if they were to factor. They are always welcome to factor, though, if they wish. What technique would be used to factor this expression? It looks like a difference of squares. Oh no, wait. Only the 4x squared is a perfect square. 10 isn't. How can this be? Oh, right. Always look to remove a common factor first. Both terms are divisible by 2, so this actually is removing a common factor. For this one, there are 3 terms. It must be a trinomial. Oh wait. The first thing we should ask is, can we remove a common factor? We can't do that here. But is it a perfect square trinomial? No, 3 is not a perfect square. So this is just trinomial factoring. And so on. When students are done, they can turn the cards over and look for the abbreviation for the type of factoring. DS, difference of squares, RCF, removing a common factor, and so on. Factoring cards are a great way for students to practice. They're a good activity for small groups or for individual students. Students can constantly challenge themselves with working on different variations, their accuracy, or their speed. Using the cards can help students recognize patterns and deepen their abstract understanding of the key principles. They're also great for a quick review at any time of year. Just go grab them off the shelf and you're ready to go. There are also matching cards available for graphing, and very soon they'll be available for trigonometry and the unit circle. Check out the Math Institute at the GWI website for more information and updates. Thanks for watching.